In this video, we're talking about CSS3 rounded corners. Okay, so this CSS3 is an advanced CSS. Okay, with those few changes. Okay, to start with this CSS3 rounded corner, let's give more space to. Okay, now let me first of all connect my live server. So our changes will be previewing live on our browser. Let's refresh. Okay, now it's connected. Okay, let me say and create a simple HTML structure. So inside this place now, I will make use of div. Okay, inside this div, I think that's all I will have to add there. Then I'll come here and then add let me add let me link our CSS file, external CSS file. Okay, so if you don't know how to link this external CSS, you go to my CSS video name CSS inserts and watch that video, you understand it better. Okay, having said that, let's start styling. Let me just give this div any letter. Let me just say let me use a block letter. Say we are using let me say we are using CSS3. Okay, let me just do that. Let me refresh. Okay, so there will be text in our div. Okay, so coming inside this our CSS, we'll be using a element selector, so which is the div element. So say div lowercase div, then open our declaration block. Inside this our declaration block, we'll give this div background color before we give it width and height. Let me give it a background color of let me say let me use green. Let me use green. Okay, then you can see the effect on the browser. Then let me give it width. Give it width. Let me give it a 40 pixel, 400 pixels. Sorry. Then the height of 400 by 400. Let me give it uh, height of 400 as well, and see how it look like. 400 pixel. Okay, it's a little bit bolder now. Okay, so it will be okay for the illustration. Okay. I want this text to be in the center. How do I do this test now? I think I can do it by text align. I think so. Let me say test align. Just targeting the text inside the div box. Test align center. It's now in the center. Okay, in the center. But if I want to push it in inside this middle, I'll use a margin and drop it down. Okay, if I want to do that, let me just say margin. Let me give it this is a top margin top, so I will target the margin top. Margin top, I will give it let me give it, let me say, since our height is 40 pixel 400 pixels, so let me give it 200 margin top and see what it looks like. 200, give it space here. So for 200 pixel, let me see what it looks like. No, it's affecting my div and it's not what I want. Let's just leave that. Let us not waste our time trying to figure it out. Let the text be there. Okay, but let's just give the text a color so it will stand out from the div background color. Let me give it say azula or any color that looks a little bit nice. Or should I use this aqua? How will it look like now? Okay, I think it's very visible now. Okay, so what you're doing now is a rounded corner. So the first way to normally do it in CSS is to use border radius. So say border. I've not put my semicolon first. Then after the semicolon, I'll now give it. We'll not say border radius. I'll give it. Let me say something like 15 pixels. can see the effect. So when you add only one value in the border radius, the effect. Okay, first of all, let me first of all give this thing a border. So the border will be bold. Let's say border. Let me say border. Border. Let me give it two. Let me use 1 point. Okay, what about 1.3 em? Solid. Let me start with solid. Solid. It's a solid black. Let's see solid black and see what it looks like. Yeah, I think this one makes sense, but let me reduce this my EN to 1 and see how it looks like. Okay, I think it looks a little bit big. How about 0.6? Okay, I think this one make a little bit sense. Okay, so if you can look, if you can see the edges of the angles, the edges of the square, you can see that is rounded with the value we give it here. Okay, the more you increase the value, the more it will start, the effect will be intense. If you say 30 now, okay, so what this does, that once you give it one value here, the value will affect all the whole edges. It will give the same it will have the same effect on the whole edges. The measure, this 30 pixel will affect all the whole edges of the square. Okay, so another thing you can do is you can also do this one. Let's remove this one, or let's comment it out. Control backward, let's comment it out and write another one, another pattern. You can say border right, or let's start with border see border is what, yeah, here's what I'm talking about. Border top, border bottom left largest, which is border bottom left largest. That should be this side. Okay, you are targeting only one particular side. Okay, so what I want to illustrate, that I can add each, I can give each angles different border radius. Okay, inside this place, and let me give this one, let me say something like 20 pixels now. Let's see what effect it will have. You can see it only targeted this area. You can see that. Okay, how about let's duplicate this now, add okay, let me give it, let me say let me duplicate this, let me duplicate it, shift alt then arrow key. Let me have up to 4 because I will have to add four four attribute. Then this one is border bottom left. Let me shift it to right so it can have effect on the right, which is the opposite side of it. You can see the effect on the side. So I don't want to give it 20 pixels. I want to give you something like say 40 pixel. Okay, by giving it 40 pixel now, you can see the effect. Okay, this one is more, this one have more value more than this one, and you can see which means you can style the side with anything you want. Then let me make this one top. Let me edit this one and give it top, and then give it a value of instead of 20, let me give it a value of 60. Okay, you can see the effect here. Okay, then let me change this one to top right, top right, top right, top no, just top right. Okay, let me also let me increase the value to something like say 80 pixels. You can see the effect. So you can actually give each of the angles a value, a very unique value they want, you want. Okay, and you see the effect in the output. Okay, now the next I want to talk about is, just note that once you add only one value, if you not specify this border bottom left right, which means you are making it dialect to particular. If you don't use this value, if you just use say border like this first one that we used here, if you just use only border radius and you give it only one value, that one value will apply to the four edges, of the square automatically. Let me uncomment this one. You can see that it will just all of them will just inherit the same property. If you give it two value, if you give it say, something like a two value here, let me give it something like 20 pixel again, two value here, it will still affect, but the difference is that the first one will affect this one and this one and the one opposite to it, and then the second value will affect this side and one opposite to it. Okay, then if you give it three values, say something like 10 pixels, let's say 10 pixels, okay, what will happen now is that the first one, which is this 30, will affect this one and affect, yes, it affects this 30 pixel first. How is it called? First top, this is the top, what is it called? Okay, yeah, one, two, three. So the three of them now, we the first one, which is 30 pixel, will affect this place. This place is left. This is top left. And then the second one, which is 20 pixel, will affect top right and the bottom left. While the last value will affect only the top bottom, what is it called? Bottom right. Okay. So that is it for three variable. But if you complete the value, is to give it to all of them will take the position of one side. Okay, having said that, let me comment this thing off. Let me comment here off. I think not, don't remove it, let me just comment it, control backward slash. Okay, so the next I will be talking about is called CSS3 elliptical corners. Okay, there's no difference with other corners, just that you add degree to the pixel. That's the only effect it will have. Okay, so let me uncomment this. Okay, let me remove these values here. Let me remove these values. Okay, so in this elliptical CSS elliptical corners, all you have to do is just say something like say 20 pixels, then you put slash and put degree 20 pixels. And why is this thing not okay? It's not working because I have not added the degree. Okay, I have not added degree, so I will add slash. Let me say something like 40 degree, 40 degree, not degree, 40 percentage, say 40% shift. Okay, you can see the effect now. It does not affect the edges, it affects somewhere in the center. You can see where it affected, somewhere in the center here. It looks like something like a drone. Okay, how about doing it, let's say 60 percentage. You can see the effect. How about say how about 80%? You can see the effect. How about 10%? It's not that visible. How about 200%? You can see the effect. So just a little difference between this side, it will not affect the top, it will not affect the bottom, just the side there is where it will affect. Okay, you can see that. So that is it for CSS3 rounded corner. See you in the next video. I hope you enjoyed it. See you in the next one. Thank you.